Harlem's #1 podcast. You're listening to The Beat 139, Harlem's #1 podcast, featuring Doc, Don Vito, and Keith Cash.
139.
Yo, what up, Doc? We back.
What it do? What it do?
We back.
Y'all
Give me
know
that
what it
energy,
is.
man. Come on, baby. Let's
Y'all
get with the
know what it
program.
is. It's good. Happy Wednesday to the people, man. Y'all know we're doing big things. We got the merch right here, the Beat
We got
139.
the
Y'all
merch.
see it.
Y'all see what it
Y'all,
is?
y'all need something, y'all come holler at us. You know, the Harlem the Beat 139 _ Harlem on Instagram. Y'all want to cop something, you know, y'all hit us up. We had a great week. We getting an award on Friday.
Big award. Let's go.
Big award.
3139, another award.
We racking these awards up. Beyonce and Jay-Z, y'all gotta watch out. We coming. And yeah, State Building, 125th Street and 7th Avenue at 2 p.m. Come show out the Beat 139. You know how we do.
Yeah, it was unexpected, but you know, I gotta say it's well deserved because we be working, man. You know, we be working. I tell people all the time, we work 7 days. You know, we prayed for this, so God be like, yo, here. And we owning up to it 100%. The whole team is working, and that's what makes me feel good. Without further ado, I'm Don Vito, voice for the peoples.
Doc, shake the block.
Okay, check us out, right? We got to start the second interview. We got two brothers right here from the community doing community things. You know, we brought them to the show tonight because tonight is a night of information. You know, like KB came on, he had some great information. You know, these two brothers right here doing some magnificent things in the community, and that's the reason why we brought them on. You know, to show the power of black men, black kings, man. You know, we out here making a difference, you know, and I'm not even going to hold these gentlemen up. Without further ado, introduce yourself, brother.
Thanks, bro. My name is Hassan, aka PH, come from Harlem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Darrell Fulton, aka Brother Gifted. A lot of people know me in the community by that name.
Where you from, brother?
I'm from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, bro.
Bed-Stuy, do
Brooklyn,
it
My
down.
wife made me a Harlemite.
No question.
Welcome, man. So we're gonna get into these stories real quick, right? So you from Harlem. So how was life growing up in Harlem with you there, son?
Well, for me, life growing up in Harlem was wonderful. It wasn't the best, it was tough, but at the same time, everybody around us was in the same living conditions. So we didn't feel the poverty the same way, like as if we had something to judge it by.
Right.
We was rich in love.
Right.
You know,
Yes,
so
yes,
we was
yes.
still had the village concept growing up. So
Yeah.
that was a wonderful thing for me. But it was tough.
Right.
We're not going to excuse that.
It was tougher than this now.
It was really, really tough.
100%.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that though.
Right. We're gonna get into
No
that.
question.
We definitely get into, like we always say, we're big on stories. There's nothing like your story to tell where you came from to where you at now.
Right.
That always uplift the community.
So how was life growing up in Bed-Stuy, man?
Man, listen, y'all heard a lot of stories about Brooklyn now.
Yeah, we know.
Y'all already know the stories about the Brooklyn.
We know.
But, you know, really, actually, my life was really more so set in school. My mom's really wanted me to be, you know, more into school. But I got a lot of wind of certain things that sort of stirred my life in a different direction. In my hood, which is Bedford Stuyvesant, is more so.
Bring the mic back a little bit so you don't fall cut. Sorry about
Yeah, it's
that.
more so. It was more so. Who's the more popular? So, you know, going and from public school to junior high school, you know, there were a lot of popular guys. I happened to be one of them. At that time, my street name was called Bowlegs. After that, it became Diamond because I wore a lot of diamonds back in the days. I wasn't a hustler in the sense that I got money in terms of selling drugs. You know, we were more robbers, so to speak.
Yeah.
And my life was more so geared towards like the Robin Hood type of thing. I stole from the rich, I gave it to the poor.
Right.
That's how I became so popular in my area. You know what I'm saying? So when it came time for the cops to come and get me, the people were behind me. Even though I was doing wrong, they were behind me. Even my mom, you know, she always had this thing with, you know, she didn't like what I'd done. But,
Nino Brown type of thing.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, before they made the movies, man.
Right.
The movies probably was geared behind the things I was doing out there. Really.
Right.
You know, but and at that time it was a good life. You know, the late 60s or early 70s. We went into the 80s, and and then I led to the life of going to prison. And that life, 2 6 years of my first bid. My actual crimes was considered grand larceny in the state, but little did I know they were federal offenses as well. That's how I ended up in the Fed. So for 2 years, from when I got first knocked in 1986, they gave me a grand larceny charge for that robbery. We were a crew of guys that were hitting what you consider bank carriers. Like the movie Heat. We were just more a little different than that.
Right.
Really different, unique, and we made tons of money. And what happened was when I first did my first bid with that 2 6 years, I went upstate, got out in '89, and then continued that life. But again, like I mentioned, I didn't know it was federal.
Right.
So the feds had created this type of task force. They wanted to take us down. So we got to take these guys down because they're violating federal laws. And these laws, and that's what I want to talk about here today, how these laws were geared towards the youth. And I created programs to try to enlighten youth about these laws, because a lot of these laws, which are mostly federal, they're creating them in a sense that they're targeting youth. And people don't realize it. Like they have, for example, a RICO, and a lot of people heard of RICO. The RICO charges that's normally given to racketeering organizations that are geared towards organized crime, huge organized crime, people like Gotti and all these other guys. But they started creating smaller bills that was geared towards youth. So they have what they call a baby RICO.
Baby RICO.
Baby RICO.
Ain't that something?
Yeah. And this particular statute really is, you can be like a few kids just hanging out on corners. You know what I'm saying? And have a certain amount of number of guys you're hanging with or girls you're hanging with, they're classified as a gang. And when they're classified as a gang, they pick a particular acts that the people may do. They put that all together, they lump it up together. Next thing you know, you got a huge RICO case, and kids are facing years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years in prison for something that they were just innocently doing.
Right.
So that's what my programs are geared towards, enlightening youth that the crimes that are out there, the things that they're doing, they don't realize that they're breaking laws just by being a nuisance in the community.
Guilty by association.
Yeah, and it's even deeper than that. It's even deeper than that. But then from that 2 to 6 years, I ended up in the feds, and the story of how I fought my case from 1991 all the way to I got out of prison. I got convicted in 1993, actually. My crimes were federal racketeering charges. You would think that robbery is not a federal racketeering charge, but it is. You have extortion, you have robbery, you have extortion by extension credits, and then you have all these other acts that come into play for murder, drug uses, and they lump that all together. That's how a lot of guys from Harlem end up with all that time in prison.
Weapons charge too as well.
Yeah, they ended up with crazy time in prison, thinking that just 1 or 2 offenses that they committed was just nothing. I bailed myself out. I got plenty of money. But these laws they design, they're like giant octopuses. They reach in all different type of directions. Next, you go for one charge, that would carry maybe a 6 year to 10 year sentence, and then you're sitting in court with a rack of charges that carry life sentences. That's how all these big guys in Harlem got all these life sentences. I've met a lot of them in prison, by the way, too, and I did a lot of legal work for a lot of them. That's how I got cool with most of the Harlem boys anyway. Because I was like a jailhouse a lawyer on the inside, and I brought that outside. You want to ask a question?
So yeah, because you said 89 you came home and you got locked back up in 91.
Yeah. Because I was, again, the feds were already investigating us.
How many y'all was it on your crew?
It was about maybe 6 of us, but then 6 main ones. But then there was a lot of little branch offs. So I might be, me and Hassan might be cool, and Hassan may have 4 or 5 younger cats that he deal with, and I might have 4 or 5 young cats I'm dealing with. So when I got knocked, they lumped that all together. So they made me like the head of everything, because I was the one that they said they orchestrated everything. It was really bizarre how the attorneys were telling me that they didn't really trying to give you 2 life. They trying to give you life sentence. I said, I didn't give you a life sentence off a simple robbery. But the federal guideline system, which is like this, it's a book.
Point system.
Yeah, it's a point system. It's called the federal guidelines. It's what we call the Bible to sentencing.
Sentencing guidelines.
Yeah, sentencing guidelines. And what's interesting about this book is that the commission that oversees the book, they're not bound by any constitutional laws.
Right.
Yeah. They make their own rules.
Make their own rules. Right. Correct.
It's really serious. These things are really serious. And this is what I teach to a lot of people. And every year they revamp it.
Right.
That's how we had the crack ratio as opposed to the to the cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it was geared towards many blacks, and blacks was out there selling crack.
Mm-hmm.
So the ratio was like 100 to 1.
Right. So we're gonna bounce. We're gonna hold you there, and we're gonna bounce it back to Hassan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Hassan from Harlem, and coming up in Harlem. Let's get some of your story so we can blend these in.
Well, while he was on that side of things in Brooklyn, dealing with the gun guys sticking things up.
Mm-hmm.
On my side, we was more into the drug dealing.
Okay.
Right. And that's basically was like the culture.
Mm-hmm.
When I was young, when we grew up, crack didn't hit yet.
Right.
So I was like one of the babies of the area who was leading the pack as far as like popularity is concerned. Everybody looked at Lil Hassan as one of those young dudes who we got to keep their eye on.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so it was just like I had that je ne sais quoi, as they call it, and that it factor.
Right.
So all the older people loved me. You know what I'm saying? All the guys, my peers, they wanted to be around me.
Yeah.
And I actually was a geek. I was one of those smart dudes who tried to dumb himself down,
right,
because nobody cared about being smart in that type of capacity.
Gotcha.
Based on my living situation, we didn't have much. So I was outside early trying to get money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Whatever I could bring to the table, that's what we bring it to the table.
Understand.
You know what I mean? And so me running around, I had the popularity. So I had my little crew, and we was up under the older guys who was like, yo, we can't let you get into this life.
Mm-hmm.
Here, just run to the store.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Here, just run an errand.
Yeah.
But I was like, I need to get to it. You know what I'm saying? And they try to they did their best. And this is one thing, part of the story and why I do the work.
Mm-hmm.
That was the difference for us growing up, where the older guys would try to make sure they keep us from the street life, as opposed to trying to recruit us to be in the street life.
Right.
And so my story is, I pushed my way into it to where they said, we can't prevent them. We got to school them.
Right, I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we just got to do our best to ensure that he don't wind up, you know what I'm saying, getting laid out early or wind up going to jail early. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, that was my path, because I came to a point where I didn't want to listen to nobody. But I was around the guys who was really connected, really tied in. You know what I'm saying? Being from the east side of Harlem, Madison Avenue, specifically in the Lincoln area, 131st, 130th, from 125th to 135th, that was my strip.
Right.
And as one of the young dudes from my era, back in 88, 87, and all those times, I was the young guy that was making a name for himself amongst the other guys. The older guys, I'm sure we all hear the stories of Fritz and all these guys. They were basically the Godfather.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So Fritz was doing what he was doing, and all the guys that I was under, my OGs, they was directly with him. So for us, it was just like the money was there, the material was there to get money, and it was like, secure your situation.
Right.
And I was the one that was securing the situation for the young guys.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, amongst my team. And so that's how it was for me. Everybody in Harlem at that time was flying fancy. But our crew, based on the word that came down from the big man, Fritz, it was like all the pretty stuff, all the jewelry and all that, we did that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And although we hustlers, we get money, the guys wanted the pretty boys and fly. I was the one who was on some, we got to keep it gritty, because we got to make sure we good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that wasn't my story, the pretty Harlem story and all that. It was more gangster.
So you know anything about Fritz?
Yeah.
Right? Fritz was never flashy.
Never.
You never knew he was that dude. He only would shave all the time. He keep a little scruffy,
Yeah.
And he never was fly, unless he had to go somewhere, whatever. But he always kept a low profile. But he was major, and he supplied half of them dudes that you get to hear them names about.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna put it on the show. So how much time you did behind doing?
So I actually wound up doing 21 yeyears altogether, and I went to prison when I was 17, and my story on me wound up going to prison actually stemmed from a whole bunch of things where, the domino effect, things just start falling in line. But I actually went to prison for shooting police, attempting to kill police.
Mm-hmm.
I went to prison for murder,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and a bunch of other things they threw on top of me that I ain't had nothing to do. You know how they do it. They'll load you up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, this is a menace. We got to get them off the street. So,
Yeah.
you know, and I fell into that category back in early 90s when the murder rate was like 2,000 people plus, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they was like, yo, all right, they self-destructing. We could clear the board,
Right.
clear them out. You know
Doing
what I'm saying?
sweeps
From
and
the
all
bottom
that.
to the top. Yeah, just start
So you
clearing
went up
these
north.
dudes out.
You went up
Yeah,
north.
I wound up going to state prison. I went up north. And like the brother Gifted was just saying,
Mm-hmm.
the prison system from state and feds is so entwined.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then you got people who were in the state prison system who were doing what they was doing, catching kingpin charges in the state, but actually had the Fed investigation
Mm-hmm.
behind the scenes, just ready to load them up. You know what
Ready
I'm
to
saying?
load
So
them
they
up,
was
right.
getting them 848 charges and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I actually wound up being in prison longer than what I should have been as far as my state time is concerned, based on somebody who got caught up in the feds and they turned state's evidence and told on me to try to get out of the feds
Trying to get out.
and loaded me more up inside
Down
the
with
state.
departure.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
all that dishonorable stuff.
So, you two gentlemen, right? One from Brooklyn, one from Harlem, one been to the feds, to the state. Like, now, intertwining y'all stories, right? I seen you had a shirt on, a
Yeah.
sweatshirt. With the sweatshirt symbol.
Yeah, that sweatshirt, that's one of the brands that I established. It's called Alpha Nova.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically like a philosophy behind what we do, how we do it, why we do it. Everybody run with that phrase alpha and what it means, but you know, it's been corrupted as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people think of the term alpha and they say, well, alpha means being big and bad and rough and tough
Mm-hmm.
and being a badass.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, actually studying what the whole philosophy behind what alpha is, I come to a conclusion that alpha simply means someone who takes the lead,
Mm-hmm.
right? Within themselves first. They take care of their peoples. They hold their people down. They're not obnoxious. They're not highly misogynistic. They about their family. They're about making sure their women inside their families are good.
Mm-hmm.
They're about being a leader inside the community. So and set an example for other people to follow. So I created an acronym for the word alpha, which means active leaders promoting high accountability,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so that's what an alpha means to me.
Mm-hmm.
So when people say, yo, oh, you alpha, it's not just because you got the deepest voice, you got the biggest pockets,
Mm-hmm.
you got the strongest knockout punch. It's simply because you hold it down,
Mm-hmm.
you're a man of respect,
Mm-hmm.
and you stand on principles, and you protect the weak when possible, and you do what you can
Man
for
of
those.
honor kind
That's
of
right,
thing.
and that's what it's about.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
respect it.
So that's what the Alpha Nova brand is
Right.
about.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought you were talking about this brand. This is basically the nonprofit organization that I
Right.
established.
We're gonna get into that.
Yeah,
Cause this, you got layers of stuff going.
right.
So
right.
back to you. So you say you doing some type of program where you talking your experiences and you telling people like with the RICO laws and all that type of stuff.
No, but he was on the part on 91 when he caught his charge and
Okay, let's go there.
Yeah, that was the state one. And
Right.
Afterwards, in '93, the feds picked me up. And
Right.
I've been in since then. The actual pickup was 91. So I didn't go trial till 93. I was fighting in the federal system from 91 to 93, and then I got convicted around between 93 and 95. Ended up with a 30-year sentence. They were supposed to give me 2 life sentences.
Mm-hmm.
That was the objective, you know. So I fought that, and I was pro se, by the way. And of course, we know pro se is just a person who represents himself in court, and it was a big frowned upon thing to actually do that in court. When the federal system realized how intelligent I was as a young black man, I became more dangerous with my intelligence than what I was as a criminal.
That's right.
It was weird, you know. It didn't dawn on me then because I really didn't understand, you know, the logistics behind that back then, how blacks were targeted. And this judge, he made a comment. At my sentence, you know, he spoke for about maybe maybe about 15 to 20 minutes. And my courtroom was packed. When I tell you my courtroom was packed, we had the spectators in there, the news people in there, because I did my trial pro se by myself. I cross-examined, I did everything. And it was baffled how this kid know this. I learned the game.
No question.
And I was in there playing these people's game.
Oh, so you represent yourself?
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
You can do that.
One of the forensic, they called him a specialist. This guy was a 30-year specialist. He was top dog. I mean, he'd get on the stand and tear everybody up. When I finished with that guy, he turned to the prosecutor and said, I thought you said one of the guys that was charged was going to represent you. You didn't tell me a lawyer was going to cross-examine you. He said this in court. And the guy, that's what the U.S. attorney said. You nitwit. He is the defendant. And you know, and you know what? At the time, it was a little. I got a little cocky about it at the time. I was still young, still fighting and everything. And I didn't realize what was really happening at that time. I didn't realize how the value of it, the significant impact, what they were really trying to do. They were trying to ghost me. And the judge spoke about maybe 15, 20 minutes, and he commended me. He said, you know, you could have been sitting right where I'm at today. He said, where did you go wrong? He said, I never, and I got a transcript. I kept the transcripts out, all my transcripts out of pro se. He said, I never met a pro se litigant who knew more law than the court. This guy wrote a book. It changed his life. Years later, this judge changed his life. Years later, he wrote a book. He talked about me in the book. And because he realized that at the time that I was fighting, you know, OJ was on trial. I used some of Cochran tactics and all that stuff. Like there was all kind of things going on in the courtroom. But I ended up doing the 30 years. It got the entire 30 years out of it. So I did 28 years off that. I got out in 2017. So I met Tiff. She's actually writing a book on the Fritz. She's the one that has the rights to all that. The Fritz story, the Donnell Porter story. She's doing, you know, she's doing miraculous things.
Yeah, she is.
So, you know, at that time, I got out in 2017. So I began to put these programs together. I was doing these programs in the facility. You know, Scared Straight was what I created this program. Well, I was with some guys that created this program. It was called ROPE. And the acronym was like ROPE. And they had a little rope that hung down. And it meant reaching out to provide enlightenment. And we've gotten so in tune with the facility, the wardens and all of them, that prison guards and staff used to bring their children in and let us deal with the children. And see, we didn't meet the children. We didn't use fear to reach the children. We used reason.
Right.
And it was effective. It was effective. And I always looked at the difference between, you know, see Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, and as opposed to individuals like the tyrant that ran the country that they went over there, took his country over. Saddam Hussein, not Saddam Hussein. What's the other one? No, not Noriega. The other one. The other one that they went over there, took over his country.
Gaddafi.
It's another.
Oh no.
It's
No.
Nah, it's another.
You talking about George Bush when he took all this stuff?
They went and they got country. He had his own country. They had gold bars from gold
Not Bin Laden,
AK-47. Not that Bin Laden, but it's another one that's over there. But anyway, he used fear to run his country.
Somebody in the chat. Go ahead.
They toppled his regime. But he used fear to control. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and
Right.
He knew they had the power. So I always had this thing, you know, who would you rather follow?
Saddam Hussein.
There you go.
Come on, man. Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, he said that.
Yes, Saddam, because George Bush went over there and did that. It's with George Bush era. Yeah.
You know, and I always used the parallelisms with him using fear to rule, as opposed to people like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King who used reason, you know, to rule. So, and I realized that people listen to reason, especially when they have individuals like us that've been through that, through the fire, we've been there, we've done that, and they tend to listen. You know, because a lot youth now these days, they don't want to listen to the old guys. You know, the youth today, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, they something wrong with them, man. Because we work with them. You know, I have sons and stuff like that. You know, I stay on a different breed, but there's something different from, because me and brother Hassan was talking earlier briefly. No, matter of fact, I was on the phone the other day, right? Me, you, I think it was Keep Cash, right? We was building with him. We come from the same cloth, you know. I did 17, you know what I'm saying? I did state and fed. You know what I mean? So I know both of y'all talking about. You know, I got locked up in the 80s too. I done been to Clinton. I done been to all the toughest prisons. I did all that. That's part of my story, you know? So it's relatable. That's what me was building back and forth. Because, you know, he just want to know, check us out, show type of interview process we doing. And I like, bro, we you, man. You know, we came home like that. We going to talk about Harlem Fun next, right? His nonprofit. We came home. We like, yo, enough is enough. Let me go out here and make a difference, man. You know, me, Doc, got together, Keith Cash, Ted, Jay, you know, and we doing some great things. So let's get back on your side, right? Let's talk about the Harlem Fun. How long you had your non-for-profit?
Okay. Actually, I've been doing the social justice work on the streets since I got released in 2012.
Okay, 12 and 17.
Right. So from 2012, when I got released, when I got out, I saw that things weren't the way that they used to be in regards to the guys who were doing their thing, getting money, who's supposed to be the man on the street. They were very apathetic, nonchalant, disregarding to the average person in the street that didn't have much. When we were coming up, the guys who were the so-called willies, they made sure the hood was good. So when I saw that, and I'm like, I'm just getting home. You know, I ain't come home to anything I had. They been took. You know what I'm saying, was been gone. Guys was trying to get at me, but I'm like, nah, I've got to be reserved about how I move, because I already planned out what I was going to do decades ago. You know what I'm saying? So I get home and I see that this is what's happening. So this is the state of affairs. This is why the people is feeling like disenchanted with the so-called dudes who's supposed to be about something. And you hear the mumbling and grumbling going back to the young dudes. We're going to get into that, how that interrelates. And it's like, you know what? I'm going to set the example. I'm going to show them how Big Willie's supposed to move. I'm going to show them how official dude's supposed to move. And so whatever I was doing in the streets when I got released, I said to myself, for every dollar I make, I'm going to give at least a quarter to the hood. Right? And so whenever I got bread, I'm throwing a cookout. I'm throwing a block party. I'm throwing a trip. Let's get together. I'm throwing giving back. I'm talking to all, mind you, my son, when I got out, he was 22 years old. Right? So he had his little crew from Lincoln, and they wanted to get into the rap music industry. So I said, okay, I know a couple of people from being locked up. I was locked up with quite a few of the dudes who was doing their thing in the music industry, and they little, you know, they crews. So I said, all right, that's what y'all want to do, the whole hood. Okay, my little brother and them, they into the music. Let's buy some studio time. Let's do that. Let's go throw parties. Let's do that. So I was doing all those type of things, looking for nothing in return. And then it started spilling more into, it started to get bigger, not spill, but it started to get bigger to where I was thinking like, I do this for my block. I do this for my peoples. But I see on the west side of Harlem, ain't nobody showing love like that. When I go across dudes, when I go downtown, ain't nobody showing love. I said, you know what? I'm going to make Harlem my home. Harlem going to be my entire house. And I wound up bumping to one of my guys by the name of Jab from Lenox Ave. Shout out to Jab. I see y'all had Jab from 40th on the other day. You know what I'm saying? That's another one of the guys. But I'm talking about my boy with Jab from Lenox Avenue. You know what I'm saying? 128th, 129th, that area. He's doing his thing in the community with his establishments that he opened up. And we were childhood buddies.
My Jab, they got the sanctuary?
Yeah, he got the Harlem Sanctuary. Shout out to Harlem Sanctuary.
Shout out to
all
Jab.
the people's over there. And I'm saying that's the family. So me and Jab, we caught up. We started getting back together. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, yo, what I'm doing, we doing a little business as far as like with the companies and stuff. And I told him, I'm like, yo, I got to get something together for the peoples. Me and my sons, we put together something for Thanksgiving where we fed people at the state building. Shout out to Shines, you know what I'm saying? And we had bought turkeys. And when we bought turkeys, we had a line of people. And it was like, yo, I'm saying to myself, seeing the people online, I'm like, yo, these people can't use these turkeys because they homeless. So how they gonna cook the turkeys? You know what I'm saying? So I said to myself, next time we do this, tomorrow, next year, we doing dinners. So I wound up catching up to Jab, and he was telling me like, yo, the church, they be wanting me to do this type of stuff. So I said, yo, listen, I'm on it. He said, yo, Haas, if you go and do it, I'm gonna send all my peoples to you because I don't be having the time. And he had an extensive network from having, working and having establishments that he owned. And so, man, people he sent to me, and we start getting ready for, this was 2017. We had like maybe 8 caterers and chefs. And we had countless people who wanted to be a part of it. And for that Thanksgiving 2017 at the State Building, we lined up all the food. We had to cater it, the sternos and all that out. We fed 1,000 people.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
and
big.
when we did that, so when we did that, it was like, all right, cool. All the people he sent to me, they was like, yo, Hassan, they didn't know me. They knew him. Remember, I'm going for 2 decades.
Right.
But they like, yo, Hassan, we want to catch up to you. We want to boom, boom. And I'm like, yo, all right, let's make it make sense. Instead of just doing events, let's create some programs and workshops for the hood. You know what I'm saying? These young dudes need to get connected with us. We need to develop this generational bond, this intergenerational bond, because they like, yo, fuck the old timers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the old timers is scared of them. So they like, yo, I ain't fucking with them kids.
Yeah.
I said, I'm gonna make it my business to do that. So that's when I officially start putting together the Harlem Fund as an organization itself. And we got our 501c3 back then, you know what I mean? And we just kept working. And I never asked for no grant money from nobody. It was just all out of pocket all the way up until this time. It's just like whatever we do for Thanksgiving, I put up about $5,000 to $8,000 worth of food because Jab put up, all the peoples they put up, we do that. So for every holiday, we do our events on those holidays since everybody is in love with the holidays to bring awareness to certain issues that is of significance to our community. So we'll just buy out an event space, we buy the toys, we buy the food, you know what I'm saying, all that, and we just show love, man.
So that's crazy. You give it back, no funding.
No funding.
Okay,
I'm not
good.
against that though.
Not at all.
My company, which is Medianis Inc. By the way.
What's the name of your company?
Medianis Inc.
Okay.
It's S corporation. Primarily, part of my business in the law section, I get grants from nonprofit organizations.
So there we go.
Oh, let's talk about it.
Yeah, that's great. That's what I was just about to ask you. You said you've been from 2012. You said. So you had the nonprofit from 12 to now.
I had the paperwork done later, but I was doing the work
from 17.
As soon as I got
17.
out of prison. From 2012 up to 17.
You built it up.
Did all that.
You built it up. That's because you're like my man KB started kind of like small, with no funding or really no assistance, and then boom. You see what I'm saying? And this is what I'm talking about with these stories you got right now. This is what the community need to hear. So Harlem Fund, tell them what Harlem Fund, the fund stands for.
Right. So the Harlem Fund, based on how we came together, the collective, right? Shout out to my girl Tamika Silva. She got Tamika is official. She's the people's. She got all the daycares. She got a lot of daycares in Harlem, and she just keep growing. She's showing love to all the parents in the community. Heaven's Tiny Tots. Those of you who have kids, check her out. Top notch. She gonna make sure your children is official. So she allowed us to use her basement in one of her daycares because she participated in the food giveaway. And so while we downstairs, it's about 16 of us, and they like, yo, Hans, around my way, they call me PH because one of my little buddies, one of my young brothers, his name is Haas too. So they call me PH as well. So they like, yo, listen, what we gonna really do? So I'm sitting at the table. I said, yo, listen, his wife included. I said, listen, we got powerful people at this table. You know what I'm saying? It's 16 of us that either got businesses, that got establishments, that are activists in the community, and we all individual. We all know each other. We all down the block from each other. We're not connected. First things first, let's create this strategic alliance in which I was doing personal training at the time.
Another trainer.
We had people who had juice bars. I said, yo, listen, everybody who come to get juices, they into health. You send them to me to work out. Everybody who work out, they want to have good nourishment. I'm gonna send them to you.
Right.
The people who work out, the women, they complain about not having time. They got kids. We're gonna send them to Tamika.
So
I said, yo, we're gonna create a
Man.
strategic alliance
Right.
where everybody we benefiting off of each other. We circulating our dollars because we all doing community work anyway.
Right.
So it all goes back in the pot. When it's time to get tax deductions or whatever, you want to give a charitable donation, it's going back into the pot. So they was like, yo, damn, we with it, right? And so that made me say, okay, we need to do this official because I deal with straight transparency. Here's what we gonna do. I'm gonna get the paperwork done. We gonna get all the paperwork together. Let's think of a name right now. And we brainstormed, came up with the name, the Harlem Fund. And the Harlem Fund stands for, the FUND stands for Families United, Not Divided.
There we go.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what
Families United, not divided. Harlem Fun.
So all y'all got together and
Partnership.
partnerships.
See what I'm saying?
dope.
See, so many other communities do that. So
No
many other
question.
communities do that. When they pull that in. And then if you don't know, if you get into history, I'm a big history buff. I also teach that as part of my ministry. In that, from the biblical perspective. And by the way, Alpha, from the biblical perspective, literally means the beginning.
the beginning.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
So,
Alpha and Omega.
Yeah. So, So the Black Wall Street back in the days, they actually had it. They were actually doing that. It initially started then, so they got burned down. You know the history behind that, but it's the same concept.
Right.
It's just that a lot of us as blacks, we don't stick together. You know, we meet people like how we exchange numbers with the brother. I've done that many times, and there's no connection whatsoever afterwards. We just pass it.
Right.
You know, and I'm calling, and you don't even remember me half the time, whatever. I still do it. I got a little bitter behind it, but I still do it.
Right.
Because it may be just that one person.
Yes,
may
yes.
decide, okay, you know what? I'm gonna link with this brother.
Yes.
And I've literally met brothers at all kind of events that I go to.
Right.
And one particular says, "Yo, look, I'm a stickler with that. I'm big on reaching back out." He dropped off the grid. I was calling him. Hey, what's going on? Hey, we want to have some lunch together. Let's do this. Even another older cat from back in our days, who was a singer, who got a wonderful daughter. I ain't say no name.
Right.
People probably listening probably know what I'm talking about. But we supposed to link up, supposed to get together, do some things together, just drop off the grid. So it's rare that we have people like us that live together. So we need to really try to have those bonds. I used to always say in prison, because I cooked a lot in prison. There were other brothers that cooked, and we never had nobody cook nothing for us. So I used to always order, look, let's cook for each other.
Right.
Let's get together and have our days that we cook for each other. It's the same concept, what you talk about. And if we could actually get people to really do that, then we can make a difference in these communities.
You got to see
right
about
what you're saying about for so many numbers I get throughout the years, and then it just dies.
But that comes from our lack of training inside our community. That's why I'm big on character development, right? Inside our community, all these things that are taken as a given, we don't learn these things. We don't have anyone teaching us. We think that networking is simply getting numbers, right? And I made it my business to say, inside my phone, I do my best at this. I'm busy all day long, but I do my best. I said to myself, every 90 days, I'm gonna try to go through my entire phone list and just hit people up, right? It's tough when you have hundreds and hundreds of contacts, but the whole idea is that we collect these phone numbers and they're just sitting in our phone. What are we doing? We just creating telephone books inside our phone number. Networking is utilizing the resources that people may have at your disposal, sharing, right? Because, and what I do is I contact people, I tell them what's up, make sure they good first of all, and then see how they doing, what they doing. Here's what I'm doing. I might come across something that I'm not even involved in, but I know gifted might be something you can work with. So I'll be like, yo, check this out, right? And when you do that, when you give without the expectation of receiving, that's when people start feeling like, oh shit, he ain't even have to do that. He ain't have to do that. And is with the condition that you do the same. That's all I ask. You know what I'm saying? Like the idea of buying black. You hear people say all the time, we all quote unquote black, and we all want the black dollar, right? And we use that term to try to guilt people into supporting our businesses, whether we have inferior products or high quality products. We say, yo, you'll support Gucci, you'll support this, that, and third, buy black, yo, buy black. I don't have a problem. Everything I got on is labels for the peoples, right? But my thing I say to them is this, bro. I say, yo, listen, I'll give you money. I support black business. What black businesses you support? Because I'm not going to say these are Gucci frames. I'm not going to say I'm not going to buy Gucci frames, which is quality, and buy homie from the block frames that he got from Chinatown and put his label on it. Right. I'm not going to give up the Gucci for you if once I give you my money, you go and buy the Gucci.
Right. Yeah,
I might as well buy the Gucci.
That's what
you get what I'm saying? So
what they do.
You got people who have black businesses who they'll take your money, scream buy black, and then next thing you see them dealing with all of establishments. They go into the other ethnicities. And I'm saying like that don't work. And this is something that we have to create conditional situations like that. It's necessary. That's what the Black Panthers did. They said, yo, you got to hold down the community if you're gonna be in our community.
Correct.
You can get some money. We'll buy your stuff, but you gotta hold down the hood too, bro.
And you know, I'm glad not you, just you two gentlemen coming, but also KB, because the information that we put on the show tonight is very, very important, right? Because this information needs to be shared.
No question.
So right now it's being shared. You understand what I'm saying? Like you could talk it amongst your meetings, but it's in your meetings.
Right.
And then, you know, word of mouth gets it around. But you came on our show, and this message y'all giving up, these jewels y'all giving up, is very, very important, very valuable. You know, I want to clap on that, right? Because it's very relatable. Now, you did 30 years. You did 20, 22, 21, right? So you went to prison when you was young, pretty much, right? Both of you gentlemen are highly educated, right? I'm smart, and I know smart people, and I'm listening to the words that's coming out your mouth. You know what I'm saying? And it's intelligence, and it's educated. Black men right here, right? Black don't crack. Same thing like me. I'm 60. You understand?
Right.
I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't get him twisted. My brother good. Doc good. Keith Cash good. Yeah. We take care of ourselves. But Mama Love is here. I was gonna ask you something, but I'm asking one question about you. His mother's in the building. Hassan mom's in the building. Let's drop a bomb for him right quick, right?
Yeah.
But my thing is that now we're gonna get real around here, right? All of us did bids, right? The path that I walk, I know a lot of people, they couldn't walk in my shoes, man. Right. They would have folded.
No question.
And by hearing y'all stories, same thing. There's brothers out here who ain't never been what we've been through, and they semi, I don't talk about people that, you know, they semi twisted. Like, we have to give back and share because God blessed us with this energy, with this strength, with this power to be able to share it,
no question,
and give it back to our community. And all of us in this room are currently doing this right now. You understand? There's one thing that Doc says all the time. I'm gonna let you go, brother Gifted. He says a lot of people be talking that Harlem stuff, but they ain't doing nothing for the community. Right or wrong, Doc? They ain't doing nothing for the community. They bigging up Harlem, but you ain't doing nothing in the community. So you know, and I'm gonna keep it tall as a lot of these rap dudes coming from Harlem. They ain't doing nothing for the community, man. Right. They ain't out here doing nothing for the community, man. Y'all got to stop repping Harlem. You ain't done nothing for the community. But go ahead, brother. I'm going to keep it tall with you, man. I was going to say,
biblically,
you know,
the scriptures say, too much is given, much more is required. That's right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And withhold no good from no one who is in the power of your hands to do so.
That's right.
That's what we're doing. You see, and you know, I tell you the saddest part about it is this. And even every time we even talk about it, it's an emotional setback. It's like they don't look at us like they would look at a person a doctorate or either skin color because she's not white. You know what I'm saying? My wife, she plugged me in with individuals. I did some work for some women up on the hill in the 145th Street area.
Sugar Hill.
No, I don't know if it's Sugar Hill, but over here in the other parts of
Convent.
over here, because what I'm learning is that there's a lot of people having issues with their living arrangements. They're fighting the landlords. They're scrupulous building owners and presidents of the buildings, associations, and they're fleecing the flock. They're taking money from people. They're doing all kind of weird stuff. So, they'll reach out. Channel 1 told these people to reach out to my wife. My wife went to set with them, and then my wife introduced me to them and helped them out. Some legal issues, but some people had an issue with the fact that because I didn't have a PhD, one of the points was because I was in prison. I share that from the gate. Nonetheless, because I'm more of a legal advisor, consultant. If you ever look that up, you see the type of money those people make. But I work with people on I call them the budget contingency. So if a person doesn't have a lot of money, I still help. And I didn't turn my back on these people because they didn't have the money to give me right away. The issue was if I didn't do anything, they were all going to be on the streets.
Right.
So you got to make a choice. Okay, they don't have the money. I ain't got the money, so I'm not doing the work. Or I do the work and wait for the money. I got most of the money.
It's like pro bono type of thing.
Yeah, it's still a bulk of it that I didn't get.
Right.
And the fact that people would carry us a certain way. I got the bills to pay too. I'm fighting stuff for myself. I got issues.
Right.
I'm trying to take care. I'm struggling just like anybody else around here. I got bills to pay. Put food in the house. I got a wife I got to take care. These things are necessary. But for a person to look at me because I don't have a PhD on the wall, or my skin not white, or I have an office downtown on Broadway somewhere, and you judge me on that, and I do just the same work, in some cases even better. You know what I'm saying? And there was one incident where I went to court. The judge literally said, "I want to hear it." I'm not even an attorney. But I'm in there. I'm in the courtroom with these very same people, and he says, "You know what? I want to hear it." And I went and argued the case. My wife had made some points because we were arguing for the building that they were trying to take. Mayor Adams was trying to put immigrants in this building over where we stopped at. So after the court proceeding, the clerk came up to me. He said, "Man, we haven't heard arguments like that in this courtroom for years." He said, "Man, thank you." It's like they were bored to death in it. Like every time we keep coming in, rubber stamp, they out, it's gone. That's it.
Right.
He said, "Man, you guys sit up in there, we argued, talked about things, brought case law to the judge and stuff." He was amazed. Like, yeah, well, why can't they do this? And what? It was interesting. It was super interesting. And my point to all this is that people look at us, they don't realize the value of the information that we have and the assistance that we can give to people and help them.
Yes.
But they're looking at, oh, he was from the streets, or he don't know any better. And again, what the Bible says, a prophet is not honored in his own household. So people that know you don't even want to give you the opportunity to give you certain things or allow you to do what you need to do for them, and they turn it back on you, and it's their loss.
So let me ask you something, right? I don't know this. You're not no attorney, but let's say if I would, God forbid, catch your case, and I want you to represent me, can you do it?
Absolutely. I just cannot stand in the courtroom as an attorney.
Right.
I can sit next to you as an advisor and allow you to proceed pro se, because that's what I do with most people. And they'll say, "Your Honor, we need to consult with our legal advisor," and that's how the judge was saying, "Hey, let me hear it." And he allowed me to speak, and that is unheard of. And this was in a federal courthouse. Federal courthouse. Let me hear it. And the thing is that these are resources that we have that we don't tap into because we're stereotyped. We're lumped into a whole area of people that don't want to benefit from it. Like the guy KB that spoke earlier, he spoke about the credit thing. I say I'm a bill paying person. I pay my bills. I pay my cards over time, but I can't get a loan. I can't get nothing. Now, SBA did do something for me. I can't say that wholeheartedly. The SBA did do a little something for me, but there's a lot of agencies that don't want to give me that because I'm lumped into the risk factor as other people because I'm a struggling business. And it's not right.
Let me ask you a question. So how did you two gentlemen meet each other?
You know what? Right?
Exactly that.
Let's talk about that.
Before you guys were together,
She knew you.
she knew me,
Yeah,
and you came through for an event. Was it some event?
It was one of the events that we had that she brought me through because we almost inseparable. Me and my wife, we're always together. We're always dressing alike. You know, we're always doing a whole lot of things together. You know, lately she's been inundated with a lot of stuff with the fight for Ronnie that's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So she's been very busy. So people might have been seeing a lot of things that we normally do, but we're still in the same mode. We just have a lot of more responsibilities to do what we have to do.
Mm-hmm.
More so her, because she takes on a lot of responsibility. I get on her all the time, but she doesn't get enough rest.
Right.
She's always doing everything. She's there for everybody. So you gotta rest more. You gotta tone it down a little bit. But she goes. She's like a little Energizer bunny. But we met through her. She always had a liking for Hassan because of what he does in the community. I've seen things. That's how I was gravitated to him as well.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I always love is people, and I love people.
Right.
Because I'm a people person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of an over and abundance in terms of people person. I had to tone that down because my wife, she gets guarded against that, because it becomes almost a liability when it comes to women.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It comes off differently. Yeah, it comes off a little differently because I'm a people's person. I love on people a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Some women may take that wrong, so my wife guards against that. So I understand the point
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to that. But when me and him, we linked with that because he has that kind of energy,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how we kicked off. So I always wanted to support him with certain things. So I guess this night is that opportunity to really just open up.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, let me clap for that. Yeah. This is about Black unity, man. Bringing it in, man. So, are you guys planning on coming together in doing what?
Oh, basically, the work that we do, it already has synergy. You know what I mean? His wife, Tiffany, we call her Queen by name. She always presenting something to me because that's how we met under those terms.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I see what you're doing. I like what you're doing. Would you like to be a part of this? You would be a good fit. I'm like, of course. Anything that's for the peoples. And like I said, if a person is official, it's no bull crap around them. You know what I mean? I don't do all the necessary stuff that goes on inside our community all too often. I'm not with any of that.
Mm-hmm.
She's not with any of that.
Right.
I met her through her writing and her community work and being part of the Uptown Democratic Club.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When I found out she was writing a story on Fritz, which is I consider the Godfather, our Godfather,
Mm-hmm.
that really made me like have an affinity towards her because I'm like, she's not really like of that life. And she's like, yo, I want to chronicle this story the right way. The same way they do for the Italian mobsters and the Jewish mobsters. And, we glorify, we don't glorify these stories, but at the same time, we use them as historical pieces that can paint pictures that people can learn from and gather insight from to help direct themselves. You know what I'm saying? And that's the type of time she was on with writing the story for Fritz, for his sister Sheila. And so that's how we met. And when we met, it was like, whatever you got to do, whatever you want to do, you let me know. And it was the same in turn. And that's how I bumped into the brother. And so when I bumped into Gifted, we had that same affinity that, of course, you could tell his energy is about his business. He's intelligent. Those are people I like to be around. Always in motion. So when we catch up, it's like, yo, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Yo, catch up to me, brother. And like, okay, cool. Yeah. And so, like we said, being here tonight, it caused us to say, all right, let's make something happen because he didn't know that I do everything out of pocket. Right. You know what I'm saying? Most people, when they see my social media stuff, they see the events that we do, they swear I got $3 million like the other organization down the block or the other organization on the west side who getting this money, but ain't doing much of nothing.
I got you.
Know what I'm saying? And so everybody look at that and they see that and think, look, he's good.
Mhm.
No, like you said, I'm struggling too.
Right.
I get in trouble with my peoples over there.
Right.
And I'm saying my family be like, yo, what's up?
You know what I heard
You know what I
though?
Yeah, that's true.
Let me say this real quick, Doc. And I think it's some BS, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they say about us too. But they probably saying about you guys, right? They already look like y'all got the bag, so they don't want to help you get the bag.
No, but that's true.
Right?
For real.
Right? Right, Chad?
That's what it is.
That's
That's what they
true.
saying, right?
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah,
true.
because we do what we do. We pay.
I
We do
love.
everything out of pocket too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We doing our thing, you know, because we want to do our thing like y'all. We got the passion. But people like, yo, man, they probably don't want to help y'all because y'all really look like y'all got the bag. Y'all riding, y'all.
No, that
Nah,
is
man,
true.
we just will make sure we good, but still at the same time, man, you know, you see what my man do at Harlem Fun. You know what I'm saying? My brother Gifted over there, man. Get with them and show love to what they doing in this community because it's a big because, you know, like we spoke earlier, it's not enough brothers and sisters that's giving back to our communities, man. We always had that love in the community when we grew up. You know what I'm saying? Like the next door neighbor feed us, you know?
Right.
Where you at? I'm going over to Miss Shirley's house.
That was my mom.
Let me call. He over there. Yeah, he gonna worry about. I'm gonna bring him over when he finishes eating. Ain't nobody doing that no more.
Yeah, that was my mom.
Now let's talk about your moms right quick, right? So where you get your drive and your energy from your moms, man? Cause I talked to your moms prior to the show, man. She sounded like a cool lady, man. Real cool.
No, my mom is
Talk
the
about your
greatest.
mom,
She's
man.
the greatest. Let me say this. I'm an introvert at heart.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And my mother is the total opposite.
Mhm.
She's the extrovert,
Mhm.
extrovert.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And she love on people.
Mhm.
She has no filter,
Mhm.
but it's all from a good place. You know what I'm saying? And so my mother was, ever since we were young, she was that person. She was the one who, hey, baby, are you all right? You know what I'm saying? We get 2 steps over. Hey, what's going on? What's such a... So where I'm like, Mom, you got to talk to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to show, let's get to where we going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was always like, let's just get to where we going.
Right.
But I'm thankful that I have her heart.
Right.
And I like to say
There
I
you
have
go.
my father's brain.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No disrespect to either one of them.
Right.
It's just that my mother, she's a very loving person.
Yes.
And I'm thankful that I've been blessed with that heart.
Right. Okay.
And my father, he's like one of those stoic dudes. You know what I'm saying? He's
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
strictly about business.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And he don't play no games. And
Right.
he ain't trying to talk about nothing to nobody.
Right.
But he instilled in me the idea of critical thinking,
Mm-hmm.
the idea of analyzing situations. You know, he gave me that, and that balances out very well with me to the point where no one can get over on me.
Gotcha, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Where I have to make sure my mom's good because she's so open to everybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And at the same time,
That's genuine.
right,
Yeah.
I show love to people
Right.
who may be down on their luck and not be so cynical about them, like
Right.
how my pops might be.
Gotcha.
Like, I don't want to hear what you talking about.
Right.
You gotta get it how you gotta get it.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like
Right,
he
right,
was
right.
on it like that. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm balanced out real well, and that's thankfully due to my mom's. You know what I'm saying? And so I love her for that. She's a wonderful person. She came up young. She had us when she was young.
Mm-hmm.
You know
How
what I'm
many
saying?
kids she had?
It's 5 of us.
5.
You know what I'm saying? And me and my brother, we like 1 year apart. And then it's a couple of years to my next brother, and my next brother, and then my little sister. So growing up, when my mom's had us, she was still a teen. And she made a way. You know what I'm saying? She had to do what she had to do. And I'm very thankful that, you know, she didn't get caught up like a lot of her friends did. You know what I'm saying? Although she was still young and people could consider her one of those single mothers or whatever who just wanted to have fun and all that. I'm thankful that I had a grandmother who's still alive today. You know what I'm saying? She's in her 90s, still kicking. Still
Wow, that's
talking.
big.
She said 94.
Yeah.
Ah, 94, man.
And grandma was there to help hold things down with mama. You know what I'm saying? My pops, he come around every so often based
That's
on
good,
his
both
situation.
parents.
You know
what I'm saying?
You know what? That's key. You know that's important. You notice what he said, how he took a little bit from each. You see, and that's what a lot of youth are lacking today.
Right.
Yeah.
You're only getting it from one side.
Yes.
And
Yes.
mostly from the women. And then some of the women, the younger women, they don't have those type of motherly scruples that they ought to have to raise a child, because you see the way they're dealing with them. It's like
Yeah.
Oh, what's the weird things you see today is crazy. But also, I was thinking too, Hassan, when you was talking, it was how people like us and how you spoke about my wife when how vibrant she is and how she just can't be out talked or just used like that in that
Right.
sense, is that the ones that are in power fear that.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of embracing it and saying, let's come together, let's build on that, they're afraid of losing a certain position or losing a certain prestige because that person may steal the show in their eyes.
Right.
You see a lot of that in today's time, and it's mostly amongst our people because our people, they want to hold certain positions or what have you. You're making money, you could. Why not allow others to come in and do the same? They want to keep their foot on your neck and keep you and prevent you from getting certain things that you can get because they're all afraid that you may outshine.
Yeah.
You know what else it is too, though? If you really want to think about it,
I see a lot of that there are people afraid of that.
the black people of today are very different from the black people of yesterday. And I'm saying it like this. Let's talk financials, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all crave. So let me bring it back. You said about your mother, you said about the neighborhood. I grew up, I'm not going to say poor, but we didn't have much. But you couldn't tell me we didn't have much. The house was always clean. It was food always on the table. I always had clothes on. I always had my mother said, you got to have a couple of dollars in your pocket.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I ain't really know we ain't really had that much until I got older.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, now the people of today, black people, we doing well. Like, you know, a lot of nurses is out there, a lot of doctors is out there, you know, RNs, you know, CPRs, you know, real estate. You understand what I'm saying? Clothing lines, social media, cameras everywhere. So we are shining right now, right? And which is called a position of power. Everybody can't handle a position of power. So what they do, instead of grabbing their fellow man and bringing them in, they want to shine on their fellow man. So all these years of back in the days where we didn't have it and we wish we had it, now we get it and we ain't doing the right thing with our position of power. Only our people do that. Not the other races. Our people do that. Like what Shirley was talking about earlier of the cut for the last week or so about partnering with people, right? That, you know? You know, William Allen has said a little speech about we was out at an event where it's everybody on their own block, their own corner. Why don't we get together, get off the blocks and bring it in? And form something big. You understand where I'm coming from?
No
and that's the problem, man, right there. It's like, right, for nothing. And we in power, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. When we ain't had it, we wish we can go. Now we got it, we ain't going together. It's not cool.
And that's due to lack of, I'm gonna say it again, that's due to lack of training. That's due to lack of development. Our people, this stems all the way from the times we were enslaved physically.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they conditioned us. They conditioned us to be this way, right? And some of us who broke free from that, and we were doing what you're saying. It's many pockets of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doing that. But the ones who still weak-minded, the ones who still suffer from that sickness, they the ones that scheming. They the ones who don't want to put the hard work in. They the ones who don't want to put the effort into saying, because it's easy to be a sucker.
Right.
It's easy to be a sucker. It's easy to be spineless and to not have principles, right? It's hard to be a man of principle.
Mm-hmm.
Whether we want to take it to the streets or we want to stay legitimate. When that judge say, yo, this is what you getting, and you standing there and you like, I could simply tell on this dude and get out of jail as soon as possible.
Yeah.
It's easy to take that let me get out of here. Let me shorten my sentence, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to stand on your principles.
Right.
Stand on business. That's one of the rules of the G code, right?
Right.
You got to stand on business. It's easy for your pops to say, yo, oh, she keep yelling at me. She don't know. I'm ready to leave anyway with all these damn kids. It's easy to do that.
Yeah, correct.
You know what I'm saying? And so we go the easy route because we don't have enough of us as a collective staying on top of our young men and women to say, ain't no such thing as easy.
But
You're gonna go through the fire. So like you was talking about the young man earlier, KB,
right.
you went through not having, you
Right.
went through dealing without it, and you taking in these lessons and learning the character traits and what it means to be
correct. Yeah.
ready for this.
Ready for this. Exactly.
We are now enabled, we force fed, right? And so it's easy to get on this phone and bust a move, and now you sitting on it. And I say this to I'm not far removed from the streets. You know what I'm saying? So I deal with the young dudes who scam us. I deal with the young dudes who trying to hustle. And the ones who quote unquote scam and they like this, boom, boom, and they just got a 40 pack dropped in their account. They not growing up. They not going through the struggle of having to get it.
Right.
And so they can easily throw it away. They can easily lose it.
Yeah,
like how
they come that
parents,
easy.
Our parents used to say about us selling drugs. Like, yo, why you just throwing your money away? My mom used to be like, yo, you bugging out. Why you keep buying this? Why you buying that?
Yeah.
Because she know how she have to struggle for it. And so as time go on, like you said, with the computer age and all that, it becomes easier and easier to be able to bust these moves when you're knowledgeable about them. But the more easier it becomes technologically and financially, the harder and the lesser we develop character-wise, principle. You know what I'm saying? And that's because it's not enough of us as a collective impressing upon that. That's why I do what I do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
When you think about it, I mean, you're going through hundreds of thousands of dollars. In some cases, you've seen it. We all seen it.
We've done it.
I've had people talk about it. You know, I had one person tell me, he said, one time they came to the crib and they see, I lift up the bottom of the bed. Crazy, the whole bottom of the bed. All cash. Where is it?
It's gone.
It's gone.
Well, you know why I'm not sitting? Where's my?
Because we the number one consumers.
Where's my big house? Then you're talking about spending all this money. I mean, 1 minute the guy got $2 million. Next week he ain't got nothing. He got a product. Or he just got a bunch of product, as he call it. Yes, what are we doing? I could have gotten out the game that I was doing hundreds of thousands of dollars a long time ago. It was just the money out of jewels. I got something on layaway for 20 or 30,000. Something on layaway.
Right.
What am I doing?
Not called living the wrong dream.
What's
Living the wrong dream, man.
And now here today,
you know what I'm saying? Dudes are living the wrong dream. Had the money, but living the wrong dream.
And
you need that mentorship.
Yeah, you need that mentorship. Like you say, we not being taught.
We was running through millions of dollars in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
But how many of us knew people who own businesses, people who own real estate, who was right there with us, who's saying like, yo, the same buildings, brownstones we used to have hole in the wall, selling cracks out of, making 100,000 a day, 30,000-40,000 a day on a bad day.
On a bad day.
We ain't think about those brownstones.
No.
And 20 years later, they worth millions.
Yes.
And what they were going for back then?
Yeah.
A dollar.
$500. And now they worth millions. And we scratching our head because the money gone. We burnt it because of materialism. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And this is what we have to start pushing to our young people. But it has to be as a collective, because when they see an individual, we the minority.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we gotta form this Avenger group. We gotta form the team, and we gotta look good doing it. Because they don't want to see you, they don't want to hear you when you don't got nothing to show. If your sauce ain't up, they ain't working. They ain't trying to hear nothing you saying. You know what I'm saying? And that's the issue that we dealing with when it comes to our young people. Because I don't give up on the young people.
Yeah, me neither. Nah.
We can't.
Nah.
That's actually our future.
Right.
And a lot of suckers in the hood. Yeah, you suckers in the hood.
Right.
Y'all
talk about it.
Y'all get y'all little money and y'all want to be at the lounges all day and all night. More power to you for that. But when it comes to dealing with that same woman's son who about to crash out, you wanna hump on her, but you don't want to help her with her young person. And I don't mean financially. I don't mean make him your stepson.
Right.
It's simply like, little homie, let me holler at you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That don't take much.
Not
but
at all.
dudes are selfish because they are not forced, which our women have the power to. They are not forced to they not forced to contend with accountability. If you want to hump on me, then you got to say something to my young boy.
That's right.
That's right. It's facts.
You know what I'm saying? If you want to style with me, then say something to my young boy, because he about to crash out, and I can't talk to him because I'm a female. But he actually look up to you.
Yeah.
Mom, where old boy at? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he had the 6 Series. He stopped by. He was like, yo, what's up with your moms? And he getting props for that.
Yeah.
He telling his friends, yeah, my mom's messing with such and such. You know what I mean? But you're not saying that one word to him.
Yeah.
And he about to crash out because he don't know a clue on how to get to where he want to be, which is, I want to look like you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so these are the things that I go after my peers about. You know what I'm
So
saying?
let me ask you a question. Let's get to another topic.
Yeah.
Talk about the gangs, right? So you talk about these young brothers who don't have guidance or don't, just like humping on the moms, but you don't want to talk to the kid. You don't want to try to, uplift them or whatever. A lot of them turn to them gangs because of things like that. So
Definitely.
How do you feel about that?
Well, listen, dealing with this side of things, I was locked up, right, in the early 90s. I was actually in Coxsackie in 92, 93, right? And the cat, what they call it, is where they sent all the young dudes, right? For the most part. Now, this is the time where the blood movement began. I was there as one of the dudes who was already in the prison with his own power solidified. Uptown, Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, and upstate guys. Everybody vying for power, right? The Spanish guys, all the Spanish bros from the old gangs, the Latin Kings and the Yetas, they were already on the scene. When the guy Omar, who called himself OG Mac, he was on Rikers Island and he started to have these mumblings and rumblings about blood. A lot of the guys who he was talking to, they came upstate. They came to Coxsackie. When they got to Coxsackie, a lot of them became my little homeboys. Some of them was my mans that I was already running with, that was already moving with me. We on command, right? And so when he came into the jail and they introduced me to him, it was under the auspices of, yo, this is some militant stuff for the peoples, we standing, and I'm straight against the administration. I stayed getting locked up for going against the administration. You know what I'm saying? So when he talking this talk, and I'm like, oh, all right, yeah, we want to do this blood thing. And I'm like, we don't need no blood thing. All my guys, we move official. You know what I'm saying? We already militant. We shut the jail down. When I make the call, when one of my guys make the call, we locking in. We ain't locking out. We shutting the jail down. So we good with that. But I love your idea. I go to the long-term key block. I go to the box and I get a word from, they send the kites out and they telling me, yo, PH, your man, one of my guys, I'm going to mention his name because this is one of my brothers, one of my little brothers, Pee Wee. A lot of people know him. He's one of the originals of this blood sex, right? Yo, Pee Wee turned blood. This is a story that I ain't tell nobody.
Gotcha.
I helped raise Pee Wee. This is my little brother. You know what I'm saying? Pee Wee is somebody who I killed for. Pee Wee somebody who killed for me. I love him. So when they tell me that he turned blood, my feelings was, I'm sending Omar out of here.
Right.
He got to go. That bloodshed is dead. This was my opinion. This was my views. And I was somebody who had that type of ability. And so the words came to me like, my boy Pee Wee, like, yo, nah, you know what I'm saying? It ain't like that. I wasn't trying to hear nothing. When I got out of long-term keep locking, I get to population, yo, let me talk to you, yo, big bro, boom, and we spun the yard. I find out all my guys who became the original heads of all these sets, my guys who we was moving together, they turned blood. And they reasoning was just that, like, yo, this is what we doing as a collective on some militant shit. You know what I'm saying? We got to hold ourselves down with this ethnic fighting, the Spanish boys with the black boys, you know what I'm saying, against the administration. And I'm like, yo, listen, you are putting yourself in a position where how I love you and willing to do anything for you, you got to be like that for people who you don't know. You don't know how they are. You don't know what they about.
Right.
Straight
And
creep.
you gotta be, and he told me though, he said, yo, I gotta be it, because he had a light bid. I didn't have a light bid.
Right.
You know, and Pee Wee did almost 30 years. You know what I'm saying? And this is when we first starting out though. And he like, yo, but this is what I gotta do. I want to do it for me. So I said, yo, by all means, you got my blessings, but I'm telling you this, anything have something to do with that, don't call me for nothing. Anything that has something to do with you personally, we sending whoever got to go out of here. But that's your politics. You know what I'm saying? So when they first came out, it rolled out. I was under personal feelings like, yo, that shit is just a play for power from this kid. You know what I mean? Because everybody wanted power. So this was his way of getting it amongst the dudes who already was powerful. But from an objective standpoint, I'm like, if that's what they standing on, I'm with it. So that's what it appeared to be from the beginning. It's just that the guys who were vying for power solely for the sake of having power, they start increasing their numbers by allowing anybody to be a part of it without vetting them, without knowing if they was official, without knowing if they was principled. And that's what watered that shit down. You know what I mean? And so now we get to a point where it's uncontrollable because you got suckers in positions that won't do nothing to nobody. And when I ain't talking about harming people just for the sake of it, I mean won't do nothing to stand up. But they trying to get other people to do it for them. And then what they did was it trickled out into the street and it became corrupted even more to where the young little kids wanted to be down, and the suckers once again was telling them, well, if you want to be blood, go cut that lady. Go cut that girl. Find the weakest, the easiest victim to blood in. You know what I'm saying? Don't know no history. Don't have no structure. Don't have no trial by fire. No development. But just to say I got 500 people under me. And so what I think about it, honestly speaking, all street organizations, I love it. I love it. It's the leadership. We don't say nothing about college fraternities. We don't say nothing about all these PBA, these associations all throughout America. But our organizations, they corrupted, you know, they negative. But that's the basis of community development, which is organization. They are the ground of structure if they was to be operated properly.
Absolutely. What I always found interesting, again, I always like to have a biblical perspective, is that when it came time to reach people, it was always the heads that were targeted. It was always the heads that were targeted. So when the Lord wanted to reach a particular person, he targeted the heads. And when the heads were reached, it trickled down to those who abided to the heads, and then it began to spread out. It's the same concept. You know, we live in a world of reaping and sowing. We can reach those heads. We can reach those people that are in power and enlighten them, show them a different way, to present it to those that they have control over. Then you will see change. That's one of the key ways of actually affecting any organization that's considered to have
no question
anything illegal about it.
No question.
Start at the bottom, you start at the top.
And before you say something, let me say quickly, believe me, I also believe that sometimes they just gotta go.
Yeah, no,
I mean, because we can't reach everybody. You know what I mean? And a sucker gonna be a sucker. So if those are the ones that's in position, they gotta go, whatever way. You know what I mean? I'm not condoning violence.
Right.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, you gotta get out of here because you holding us back.
Right.
You know?
Causing chaos in the community.
Right.
So before y'all brothers go, right? Tell them your links and tell them, you know, where to find you at your organization, how you can help them if they need you, whatever. You know, just give them some of that.
All right,
good
real
stuff
quick. On social media, you know, we have our organization, the Harlem Fund. Y'all can catch me on social media on Instagram at PH from Harlem. That's PH.from.Harlem on Instagram. The organization is on Instagram, Harlem Fund CEO on Instagram. Also, the Harlem Fund, that's our other page on Instagram. Same thing with Facebook. Just type in the Harlem Fund and you could catch us out there. On the streets, everybody know my number is public. You know what I'm saying? I give you my number is 917-412-1237. That's the organization's number. You call that number. You let us know if you have issues needing advocacy. You have issues needing support with your young person. You have issues with people bullying your child in school. You have issues with your man inside the house and he don't have a job and he's feeling stressed out. He just came home from prison and he can't find his way and he's frustrated and he's ready to crash out. You have issues with any of the things that's affecting our community negatively. We have people that address those issues. Women, men, low ages from little kids up to older people. If we don't have the resources personally, we are directing you to so many of our other supporters, our other resources like the brother gifted here. So you can reach us on any of those social media pages and also at our website, theharlemfund.org. Online, you could go to the website. You can leave any information on what your situation is and also provide donations if you can. We accept donations. We are not against donations in any type of manner.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? We work on our own out of pocket because we do this out of love. But at the end of the day, we need any and all help that can come our way. So please, if you got it in you, hit us up, whether it's donating material items, whether it's donating money, whether it's donating your time. We accepting volunteers. The Harlem Fund is a member-based organization.
There it is. Okay, brother gifted. Talk to the people.
First and foremost, I could always be reached through my wife's all of her sites, Silent Voices United, Inc. The programs that I have are literally structured under her nonprofit organization, Silent Voices United, Inc. You know, but I am a freelancer with these programs. So if you have an organization or somebody that would like to contract me out for these type of programs, they're legal programs. You know, it's called Layers. One of them is called Layers. It's dealing with legal effects on our youth is what it refers to. And other ones is just a teaching portion of the back part of Layers. My email is simple. It's Medianus Inc. medianusinc@gmail.com. You can shoot me an email. I am also on social media under I Am Brother Gifted, and also under Medianus Inc. as well on the social media pages. And I'm a great legal advocate and consultant. If you have issues you're going through or whatever, I work with low budget people that don't have a whole lot of money to hire, your Johnny Cochran types and all these other big name lawyers. You know, I'm there, you know, but I got bills to pay too. So, you know, so just keep that in mind. But you can reach out to me in any of those platforms and I'm always available.
All right, my brother, before y'all go, you know how we do. Yeah. Before y'all go, can you tell them what the #1 Harlem podcast show in the land?
Oh, you already know the beat. 139
Oh.
in the building.
139, y'all know what it is.